The next step is actually lining the backs of each quilt block. In order to do that, you're going to position the stay stitched edge of one side of a square block so that it falls directly underneath of the stay stitched edge of the fleece that's going to line it. These pieces are right sides together, so this is the right side of the back and this is the smooth side of the fleece. The fusing agent is facing out. And what you're going to do is you're going to match the raw edges along one of the long seams and sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I usually use a small stitch length such as 1.8 to 2, and I don't have to back stitch at this edge, but where my stitching meets any stay stitching, I do back stitch to reinforce there. This is the 1/4 inch seam I just sewed, and you can see my fleece is much smaller than my back. That's okay. I'm going to pull the fleece so that the raw edges match the back, and I'm going to now sew along this edge. And I'm not going to back stitch on either side, but I am going to use a stitch length of 1.8. So now you see that the back is not laying flat. That's okay. You simply join the fleece to the back again along another long seam. All of these corners are left open. This seam that you're going to sew is going to intersect the stay stitching, so I will back stitch here. I'm also going to pin and sew the remaining side using 1/4 inch seam allowance. This one doesn't intersect any stay stitching, so I am not going to back stitch on either edge. This is how a line square looks. This is the center of the windmill. So the seam allowances weren't perfect on this edge, and since the error wasn't towards the center of the piece, I just went back and relayed some stitches to make it closer to 1/4 inch. That's fine. And from the back side, this is really messy looking, but it'll be fine once we flip it. Before we flip it though, we have to trim just the fleece, not the actual fabric for the back, just the fleece to roughly half its original width, or about 1/8 of an inch. Now this is ready to flip to the right side. This shows the rectangle pieces joined together at the long edges with the openings remaining at the corners, and their fleece have been trimmed to approximately half their original width. And you can see here I flipped this one so that it's right side out. When I turn these, first I start at the stay stitched edge and I just push a little bit of the lined piece through. And then, if I can, I just continue pushing. But if it starts to get difficult, I'll take and compress the fabric that has not been pushed through the little opening yet into a tight column shape by twisting it. Once the fabric's in the opening, it's just a matter of pulling it to the right side.